Hi, I'm Stephen with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. Welcome to my front room. So I've moved some of the plants up to this room, and it's a southwest facing window. Hello Pickles, this is my garden helper by the way. And it's a southwest facing window so that the bigger plants can get out of the way of the new seedlings. So today we're going to talk about goji berries. I got my goji berries a number of months ago, if you remember, from Sask Goji Power, and they've been great. I asked them a few questions. They sent a little pamphlet with the seeds to help you out, and I can't say enough. So I was speaking with Dale about goji berries after he ordered his seeds, and we were chatting just briefly about the fact that he had read somewhere that you could prune them. And I read that on Sask Goji Power's website as well, so naturally, with the great success that I've had with my pepper pruning experience, I decided to prune them. Now I prune them in a couple of different ways, and I've gotten a couple of different reactions, so I'll bring you in a little closer to see how they're reacting differently to the pruning. So I have 3 goji berry plants, and they're all doing fairly well, especially after the transition. You'll notice that I did have to stake them, and that's because they're a little spindly, and that is probably to do with just being grown inside and not having the strength of the actual sun to strengthen them up, which is fine. You'll also notice this white powder on top. This is actually crushed glass. I had a little bit of a fungus gnat infection, and we'll talk about that in a future episode and how I've been dealing with it. I've noticed 2 distinct colors of bark, or appearances of bark. This is the older bark, and this green right here is the newer bark. So what I did is I decided to prune all 3 of my goji berries at different places. One close to the tip, one about halfway down the green bark, and one right at the transition between the green bark and the older, more striped bark. So this is the goji berry that we clipped right between the transition between the new growth and the old growth on the bark. And as you can see here in the light green, there's some nodes coming. Now this sat for about 3 weeks without really doing anything, and it's finally starting to send some new growth. And what I think this will be is new stalks. Just like when you prune a pepper, it will produce a new main stem out of that. There's a couple right at this one, right at that one. And hopefully what will happen is further down the plant, it will produce a couple of more so that we get a nice bushy plant as opposed to a tall spindly plant. This is the goji berry that we cut halfway between the new growth and the old growth bark. And what it's already done is it's sent out its new shoot. Now it's only sent one off of this stalk, which is fine. I'm kind of anticipating that this will just basically continue to grow like the last one, and maybe it'll make the central stalk a little bit more chunky and hardy. And this shot off quite quickly, so I'm assuming that the new growth will spur this kind of side branching quicker. And on this goji berry plant, I basically just clipped the top right off. Immediately, new growth shot straight up. But this, I've got to prop up because it's long and lanky and tall, and it's not very compact, so I've got it attached to a stake, and even then, it's still falling sideways over. One of the interesting things that the one that I top did is it immediately sent out a new one from the base. I'm not sure if I just had an extra seed in there, or if if goji berries sucker just like raspberries do, but topping it may have actually caused this thing to sucker. In the pot where I cut halfway up the green new growth when I pruned, and I'm not sure if these are goji berry suckers, but if they are, that's a lot of them, or if these are just volunteer seeds from something else. I think what I read somewhere is that goji berries will sucker like raspberries do, so we might actually have some more plants coming up in this pot, which would be very, very neat. So far, so good. And just to recap, we have between the old growth and the new growth, we pruned right at the transition, in the center, and at the very top. And what we notice generally is the ones at the top spurred new growth immediately. It's probably because the plant at that point is used to new growth. Further down, it took a little longer, but it is a little bigger. And then this little guy that we cut right at the transition, although it's taken quite a while, it looks like it's budding more places, and it's going to be a more stable plant. I don't actually have it attached to this stake yet. I just put the stake in as preparation. but it may be a more stable plant. So as always, we'll keep you up to speed on the progress of these and when they start transitioning their way outside. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, join us on Google Plus and Facebook. You can find the links below. Have a great day.